everyone, it's Kim here at Good Vibe Astrology, and today I wanted to talk about relocation charts. What are they? How do we create them? What might we use them for? This is an introduction to our relocation doorways to manifesting, a course that we are running at Good Vibe Astrology. So if you want to hop over there, you can take a look at what we have to offer or join us live on this series of calls. Meanwhile, there are two things you need to do to prep for this relocation exploration. First of all, you're going to create your astrocartography. What that is your natal chart laid out over a map of the world so that you can see any place in the world how the chart changes. Now, know right away that the aspects, the signs that the planets are in and the aspects that they make will not change. Those are going to be the same no matter what. What does change is your ascendant, your descendant, and the houses. So the wheel turns. Think of it as a little wagon wheel turning along as it goes across the world map. How do we take a look at this astrocartography? It's pretty easy. You just go to astro.com, and if you have a profile set up there, you go to My Astro and click the chart that you want to relocate. The easy way to do it here is we just scroll down till we get to Astro Click Travel. Just click there, and it's going to take you to the program that gives us the astrocartography, which is a technique developed by a wonderful astrologer named Jim Lewis in the 70s. Now, you make sure that you've got the chart you want to look at and the area. So if I click on world, a really interesting thing happens because we get the world, but we don't get Australia and New Zealand, so I'm not sure what they're thinking there. So this is an Australian birth, so we're going to start there so I can demonstrate a few things for you. We click Australia, and we're going to get a zoomed in close-up of the planets that were on the angles. That's the ascendant, midheaven, descendant, and the IC. This birth occurred over here in Western Australia. Saturn indeed is bang on the ascendant. Pluto's on the ascendant too, but back up towards the 12th house. Now, realize that as we go to different places in the world, Saturn and Pluto will remain conjunct. They're going to stay conjunct. All the aspects stay the same. The planets stay in the same signs. But what you'll find happens, for example, if we go to Europe, Saturn and Pluto have shifted, the wheel is shifted, and now they're down in the 4th house on the IC. Also, another interesting thing happens that over in the Australian birth, we notice that to get Mars bang on the midheaven, we'd have to go to South Australia or Alice Springs or up into Darwin. If we look back at the European chart, we find that not far off Iceland, zipping through the southern part of Norway and Sweden, on down through Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Mars is on the ascendant. Okay, so what I'm demonstrating to you here is, although the planets stay in the same signs, they stay in the exact same aspects, where they fall in the chart is going to be different, and that's going to tell you something about your experience in that part of the world. For example, way up in Indigo, east of Shoina, the Sun and Venus are on the ascendant. That experience of living in a place where Sun and Venus, distinction, warmth, attraction, on the ascendant, the way we present ourselves to the world is going to be different than the experience of having Saturn on the ascendant, where at least in early life, we can feel like we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. Relocation can make that kind of shift where the emphasis of the planets, some emphasis might fade and others come to light. Some planets may feel more intense and others more subtle and laid back, depending on if they're angular or if they're in succeedant houses or cadent houses. Now, once you have your astrocartography, you can explore all the different lines, and there are horizon lines and crossing lines that we'll be looking at. and going deeper into what the astrocartography map will show you. But when you want to hone in and get very specific on a particular area or town, you can do a relocation chart, and it's pretty simple. All you have to do is work out the clock time in that town when you were born. We'll just stick with the example that we're using, and the first thing we want to do is go to World Clock and click on Time Zone Converter. The first thing I want to put in here is the data for the birthplace, the actual birthplace. And just below it, I'm going to put in the data for a place that we'd like to explore. Now, I thought it was very interesting that in Oman, where he traveled to recently, Venus comes to the ascendant line. So let's look closer at that. If we go and add Muscat, Oman, we can see that in Western Australia at 9 a.m. it was actually the same day but 5 a.m. So we take that 5 a.m. because we know that's our clock time in Oman, and we then go back and create a new birth chart. It's going to be the relocation chart. So we go back to astro.com, click on relocation, we go to extended chart selection, and here we have it. 29 degrees of Leo rising as opposed to the Scorpio rising of the natal chart, Venus bang on the horizon. Interestingly enough, he went there for a creative project which Venus rules. It's trine Neptune, which is very nicely aspected. So we can say right away that there can be success in a trip like that. It can also be a place to relax, to have fun, to connect, to feel some commonality. It's a good place for collaboration, and it might be a good place to meet someone or connect deeper in a relationship. All right, you are now armed with two techniques: how to create your astrocartography, and you can relocate to any place in the world that you want. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, have fun with this. And for all of you taking the relocation doorways to manifestation, we'll see you there.